Have you ever stood before something so massive, so ancient that your mind struggles to comprehend its true purpose? The Great Wall of China stretches across mountains and valleys for thousands of miles, a serpentine monument that official history tells us was built to keep out invading armies. But what if everything we've been taught about this colossal structure is fundamentally wrong? Today, we're diving into evidence that suggests the Great Wall's true function has been deliberately obscured, hidden behind a narrative so simple that it blinds us to the technological marvel we're actually looking at. Because when you start examining the engineering details, the construction methods, and most importantly, the design features that make no sense for a defensive barrier, a disturbing pattern emerges. This isn't just about correcting historical records. This is about uncovering why an advanced technological system has been disguised as a primitive military fortification. I've spent months analyzing archaeological reports, construction specifications, and satellite imagery that reveals details invisible to ground-level observation. What I've discovered will fundamentally change how you see not just the Great Wall, but the entire narrative of human technological development. We're going to examine 3 critical pieces of evidence that official historians either ignore or explain away with increasingly absurd theories. First, the wall's electromagnetic properties that no defensive structure would ever need. Second, the precision of its astronomical alignments that suggest purposes far beyond military defense. And third, the sophisticated internal chamber systems that were clearly designed for something other than housing soldiers. But before we dive into these revelations, you need to understand the sheer impossibility of what we're told about this structure's construction. We're expected to believe that ancient Chinese laborers, working with primitive tools and basic engineering knowledge, somehow managed to create a construction project that modern engineers struggle to fully comprehend. The official story asks us to accept that millions of workers, many of them peasants and prisoners, hauled massive stone blocks across treacherous mountain terrain and fitted them with precision that rivals modern masonry techniques. The numbers alone should make anyone suspicious. Official estimates claim the wall consumed over 100 million tons of materials. To put that in perspective, that's enough stone and brick to build 30 Empire State Buildings. We're told this was accomplished over centuries using manual labor, wooden tools, and basic pulleys. Yet when restoration teams attempt to repair damaged sections using modern equipment, they often struggle to match the precision and durability of the original construction. Here's where the first crack in the official narrative appears. The Great Wall isn't just a wall, it's a complex technological system with features that serve no defensive purpose whatsoever. Walk along any restored section and you'll notice something peculiar about the materials. The stones aren't just fitted together, they're arranged in specific patterns that create electromagnetic properties. Independent researchers using ground-penetrating radar have discovered that certain sections of the wall generate measurable electromagnetic fields, particularly during specific atmospheric conditions. Why would a defensive barrier need electromagnetic properties? The official explanation is that this is merely a coincidence, a byproduct of the mineral content in the stones. But this explanation crumbles when you examine the deliberate selection and placement of these materials. The electromagnetic active sections aren't randomly distributed. They occur at precise intervals that correspond to mathematical sequences, suggesting intentional design rather than accidental occurrence. The wall's construction reveals another impossible contradiction. The foundation stones, some weighing several tons each, are fitted with tolerances measured in millimeters. No gaps, no mortar in many sections, just perfectly interlocking megaliths that have withstood earthquakes for over a millennium. This level of precision requires not just advanced planning, but sophisticated measuring instruments and cutting tools that supposedly didn't exist when the wall was built. Modern stonemasons, equipped with laser levels and diamond-tipped cutting tools, admit they would struggle to replicate this precision on such a massive scale. Yet we're asked to believe that ancient workers achieved this using bronze tools and measuring rods. The mathematics required for such precision across thousands of miles would challenge modern surveying teams with GPS technology. Now let's examine the wall's astronomical alignments, because this is where the defensive wall theory completely collapses. Satellite analysis reveals that major sections of the Great Wall align with celestial phenomena with mathematical precision that would be impossible to achieve by accident. The wall's path corresponds to specific star patterns, lunar cycles, and solar events in ways that suggest it was designed as a massive astronomical instrument. The most striking example occurs in the battling section, where the wall's orientation aligns perfectly with the winter solstice sunrise. On December 21st, the sun rises directly along the wall's eastern approach, creating a phenomenon where the entire structure appears to be illuminated from within. This alignment isn't approximate, it's precise to within degrees of arc, the kind of accuracy that requires advanced astronomical knowledge and careful mathematical planning. But here's what makes this truly extraordinary. This alignment isn't just accurate for our current time period. Analysis of the wall's orientation shows it was positioned to account for precession of the equinoxes, meaning the builders understood and calculated for the gradual shift in Earth's rotational axis that occurs over thousands of years. This level of astronomical sophistication wouldn't be rediscovered in the Western world until the Renaissance. Why would military engineers care about astronomical alignments? Why would defensive planners invest the enormous additional effort required to align a fortification with celestial events? The official explanation is that these alignments are coincidental, that the wall's path was determined purely by terrain and military strategy. But when you map the wall's complete route, the astronomical correlations are too numerous and too precise to be accidental. The wall's internal structure provides even more compelling evidence that we're dealing with something far more sophisticated than a military barrier. Ground-penetrating radar surveys have revealed extensive chamber systems within the wall itself, hollow spaces that serve no defensive purpose but are clearly engineered with specific dimensions and geometric relationships. These chambers aren't storage rooms or barracks, as some historians suggest. Their dimensions follow mathematical ratios that appear throughout ancient technological structures worldwide. The chambers are positioned at regular intervals that correspond to wavelength calculations, suggesting they were designed to resonate at specific frequencies. When acoustic engineers have tested accessible chambers, they've discovered remarkable sound properties, including amplification effects and resonance patterns that would be valuable for long-distance communication, but useless for military defense. The chamber systems reveal another impossibility in the official construction timeline. These aren't crude, hollowed-out spaces that could be dug by manual labor. They're precisely engineered voids with smooth walls, proper drainage systems, and ventilation shafts that extend for miles through the wall's interior. Creating such sophisticated internal architecture would require detailed engineering plans, advanced excavation techniques, and construction methods that official history claims didn't exist. Some chambers contain what appear to be mounting points for mechanical devices, precisely machined holes and slots that suggest they once housed equipment of some kind. Whatever technology these chambers contained has long since been removed, but the mounting systems remain, carved into the stone with the same impossible precision we see throughout the wall's construction. The drainage and ventilation systems within the wall represent another technological mystery. These aren't simple channels carved into stone. They're sophisticated networks that maintain proper airflow and water management across the wall's entire length. The engineering required to design such systems would challenge modern architects. Yet we're told they were created by ancient builders with no understanding of fluid dynamics or air circulation principles. When you examine all these features together, the astronomical alignments, the electromagnetic properties, the precision construction, the sophisticated internal systems, a clear picture emerges. This isn't a defensive wall. This is a technological installation disguised as a military fortification, its true purpose hidden behind a convenient historical narrative that prevents us from asking uncomfortable questions about who really built it and why. Built it and why. The most disturbing aspect of this technological concealment becomes apparent when you examine what happened to the wall during the Ming Dynasty restoration period. Historical records show that massive reconstruction efforts took place between the 14th and 17th centuries, but the documentation of these projects contains glaring inconsistencies that suggest something far more significant than simple repair work was taking place. During these restoration periods, entire sections of the wall were reportedly dismantled and rebuilt, yet archaeological analysis reveals that the Ming-era construction is markedly inferior to the original work. The precision stonework gives way to cruder masonry, the electromagnetic properties disappear in restored sections, and the sophisticated internal chamber systems are either blocked off or filled with rubble. It's as if the restorers didn't understand what they were working with and simply covered up the advanced technology with primitive replacements. This pattern of technological degradation isn't unique to the Great Wall. It's a phenomenon we see repeated across ancient sites worldwide where advanced engineering has been buried under crude later additions. But at the Great Wall, we can see this process documented in real time through historical records that reveal the systematic dismantling of sophisticated systems by people who clearly didn't comprehend their function. The Ming Dynasty records themselves contain troubling admissions. Court documents describe workers discovering strange devices within the wall's chambers, mechanical objects of unknown purpose that were removed and melted down for their metal content. These accounts describe intricate bronze and iron mechanisms with moving parts and precise engravings, yet the court scribes categorize them as decorative items or primitive tools rather than recognizing their technological significance. What makes this particularly chilling is the systematic nature of this destruction. The removal of these devices wasn't random looting or accidental damage during restoration. It was organized, methodical, and thorough, as if someone deliberately wanted to strip away every trace of the wall's original technological purpose while maintaining its appearance as a defensive barrier. The geographic distribution of the wall's most advanced features provides another piece of this puzzle. The sections with the strongest electromagnetic properties, the most precise astronomical alignments, and the most sophisticated internal systems aren't distributed along the wall's length based on military strategic value. Instead, they correspond to specific geographic coordinates that form geometric patterns when viewed from above. Satellite mapping reveals that these advanced sections mark points on a massive grid system that spans not just China but extends across continental Asia. The grid points correspond to locations of unusual geological activity, areas where the Earth's magnetic field shows anomalies, and sites where other ancient technological structures are found. The Great Wall wasn't just a single installation, it was part of a continental network of interconnected technological sites. This network pattern suggests coordination on a scale that would be impossible for any ancient civilization to achieve using the communication and surveying methods available in the supposed construction period. Creating such a precisely positioned network would require detailed maps of continental geography, accurate measurement of vast distances, and communication systems capable of coordinating construction across thousands of miles of territory. The technological sophistication required for such coordination becomes even more apparent when you examine the wall's relationship to China's waterway systems. The wall's path intersects with rivers, canals, and underground water sources in patterns that aren't explained by military strategy, but make perfect sense if the wall was designed to interact with water flow and underground aquifers. Ground-penetrating radar reveals that the wall's foundation systems extend deep into the earth, far deeper than would be necessary for structural stability. These deep foundations aren't just anchoring systems, they're complex underground installations that appear designed to interact with underground water systems and geological formations. The engineering required to design such deep foundation systems while maintaining precise surface alignments would challenge modern construction techniques. The water connection becomes even more significant when you examine the wall's electromagnetic properties in relation to flowing water. Independent researchers have discovered that the wall's electromagnetic effects are strongest near water sources and fluctuate in intensity based on seasonal water levels and underground flow patterns. This suggests the wall was designed to harness or manipulate some form of energy generated by the interaction between water flow and the Earth's magnetic field. Ancient Chinese texts contain cryptic references to the wall's relationship with water that official historians dismiss as poetic metaphor. These texts describe the wall as channeling the dragon's breath along the Earth's meridians, directing the flow of celestial energy through the landscape. While modern scholars interpret this as primitive superstition, the technical accuracy of these descriptions becomes remarkable when compared to contemporary understanding of electromagnetic phenomena and geological energy systems. The suppression of this information isn't accidental or the result of scholarly oversight. There's a deliberate effort to maintain the military fortification narrative while discouraging investigation into the wall's technological aspects. modern Chinese authorities restrict access to many sections of the wall, particularly those with the most advanced features, citing preservation concerns. But these restrictions prevent independent researchers from conducting the detailed analysis needed to understand the wall's true capabilities. International archaeological teams have repeatedly been denied permission to conduct comprehensive electromagnetic and acoustic surveys of the wall's interior systems. When limited studies have been permitted, the results are often classified or published in obscure academic journals where they receive minimal attention. The few researchers who have published detailed technical analyses of the wall's advanced features often find their funding discontinued and their access to archaeological sites revoked. This pattern of suppression extends to the broader academic community, where career advancement depends on maintaining accepted historical narratives. Scholars who question the defensive wall theory or publish evidence of advanced technological features face professional marginalization and difficulty getting their work published in mainstream archaeological journals. The result is a self-perpetuating system where inconvenient evidence is ignored and the official narrative remains unchallenged. The implications of this suppression extend far beyond Chinese history. If the Great Wall represents advanced technology disguised as primitive construction, then we must question similar narratives about other ancient megaliths worldwide. The same pattern of technological sophistication hidden behind primitive explanations appears at sites across the globe, suggesting a coordinated effort to conceal evidence of advanced ancient civilizations. But the Great Wall offers us something unique, a structure so massive and well documented that the evidence of technological sophistication can't be completely hidden. Despite centuries of suppression and misdirection, the physical evidence remains embedded in thousands of miles of stone and earth, waiting for researchers brave enough to challenge official narratives and investigate what we're really looking at. The electromagnetic signature of the Great Wall becomes even more intriguing when we examine its behavior during specific atmospheric conditions. Independent monitoring stations positioned along various sections have recorded dramatic spikes in electromagnetic activity during thunderstorms, solar flares, and certain lunar phases. These aren't random fluctuations that you'd expect from ordinary stone construction. The readings show coordinated responses across hundreds of miles of the wall's length, as if the entire structure is designed to react as a unified system to celestial and atmospheric events. What makes this particularly unsettling is that these electromagnetic surges follow predictable patterns. They correspond to astronomical cycles that ancient Chinese astronomers supposedly knew nothing about. Yet the wall's responses suggest its builders possessed intimate knowledge of solar radiation patterns, lunar gravitational effects, and the Earth's magnetosphere interactions. The precision of these responses indicates the wall wasn't just built to channel electromagnetic energy, but to amplify and direct it according to celestial mechanics. The construction materials themselves reveal another layer of this technological deception. Detailed analysis of the wall's stones shows they aren't randomly selected local materials as official history claims. The stones contain specific mineral compositions that create piezoelectric effects when subjected to pressure or vibration. Piezoelectricity is the phenomenon where certain crystals generate electrical charge when mechanically stressed, the same principle used in modern electronic devices and sensors. These piezoelectric stones are distributed throughout the wall in calculated ratios that optimize the structure's ability to convert mechanical energy into electrical energy. When wind blows across the wall's surface, when the ground vibrates from seismic activity, or when temperature changes cause thermal expansion, the wall generates measurable electrical charges. This isn't accidental. The mineral selection and placement required to create such effects would demand advanced knowledge of material science and electrical engineering principles. The wall's acoustic properties provide equally compelling evidence of intentional technological design. Sound engineers who have gained access to test the wall's resonance characteristics have discovered that certain sections amplify specific frequencies while dampening others. The wall acts as a massive acoustic filter designed to enhance particular sound wavelengths across enormous distances. The frequencies that the wall amplifies aren't random. They correspond to wavelengths that travel efficiently through the Earth's crust, suggesting the wall was designed for long-distance underground communication. Seismic monitoring equipment has detected that vibrations introduced at one point along the wall can be measured hundreds of miles away at corresponding points, transmitted through the structure's foundation systems with minimal signal loss. This underground communication capability becomes even more remarkable when you examine the wall's intersection points with natural cave systems and underground waterways. The wall's foundation network connects with existing geological formations in ways that extend its reach far beyond its visible surface structure. Ground-penetrating radar reveals that the wall's underground components tap into natural acoustic channels in the Earth's crust, creating a communication network that spans continental distances. Ancient Chinese texts contain references to messages being transmitted instantly across vast distances using the dragon paths, descriptions that scholars dismiss as mythological exaggeration. But when you examine these accounts alongside the wall's documented acoustic properties, the descriptions take on an entirely different meaning. The text describes specific protocols for introducing sounds at designated points along the wall and receiving responses from distant locations, procedures that align perfectly with modern understanding of seismic wave propagation. The evidence we've examined today shatters the comfortable narrative of the Great Wall as a simple defensive barrier. From its electromagnetic properties to its astronomical alignments, from its sophisticated internal systems to its systematic technological concealment, every detail points to an advanced installation masquerading as primitive military architecture. The stones themselves cry out the truth that we are not the first advanced civilization to walk this earth, and that the greatest monuments of our past may be the remnants of a technological sophistication we have yet to reclaim. The question isn't just what the Great Wall really is, but what other marvels lie hidden beneath the convenient lies of official history.